and we need a big barn in which to play it. The Kohl Center hosts Kansas and Wisconsin for Game 1 of the opening Spike Classic this weekend in the state capital of Wisconsin. We are moments away from first serve between number 14 Kansas and number 8 Wisconsin from inside the Kohl Center in Madison. We'll get you set with tonight's starting lineups. And for Wisconsin, it is the much anticipated Badger debut for outside hitter Mimi Collier, who transferred in from Oregon. There's a lot of excitement around her, Mac.
She's a familiar face to the Big Ten. She's a really strong attacker. The Badgers are going to need her to hit some really strong balls tonight to beat these Jayhawks.
And for Kansas, as we mentioned, this is already their third match of the season. They won their first against Vanderbilt, but completely changed their starting lineup against Penn State, their most recent matchup. And interestingly, it's the Penn State lineup that Matt Ulmer trots out against Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's been a lot of players playing for the Jayhawks, so it's interesting that he's rolling with what worked against Penn State. We'll see if these guys can produce early. If not, I think Matt Ulmer will have a lot of subs coming in off the bench.
A great atmosphere inside the Kohl Center, a much larger facility than the Badgers' typical home court. The Field House is located right next to Camp Randall. We're just a little bit down the road from that part of campus inside the Kohl Center, the customary home of Wisconsin basketball and men's hockey. Last time these two teams played, it was September of 2013. That was the first season Kelly Sheffield was the head coach of this Badger program. He's won a lot of games since then, including a national championship in 2021. Carter Booth is really the face of this program now for head coach Kelly Sheffield, who's taken the Badgers to the Sweet 16 or better in all 12 of his first seasons as head coach. Matt Ulmer, by the way, a familiar face on our network, the Big Ten Network. He was Oregon's head coach for 8 seasons, and of course that included Oregon's first season in the Big Ten. The Kansas job checked a lot of boxes for him logistically. He's from the Midwest. He actually played college volleyball here in Wisconsin, so a little bit closer to home for him and his family. And we are underway. Wisconsin's first match of the season, Kansas's third. And that is Jovana Zelenovic off the block and an early point for Kansas.
That's a really smart tip right there. Carter Booth's a really big block, and although she is a big attacker, that's a smart tip right up and over.
Zelenovic is 6'7", going up against Carter Booth, the Wisconsin middle blocker at 6'7". Plenty of size on the court. Wisconsin out of the Big Ten, Kansas, of course, out of the Big 12, and Carter Booth with the answer for Wisconsin to tie us up.
Middle offense, I think that's going to be the key here. I think that's going to be the key in general in NCAA volleyball. Everyone's got big pins right now, but who's going to be able to produce out of the middle?
The first assist of the season for Charlie Furbringer for Wisconsin, who did not play in the exhibition portion of the season for the Badgers. Had a minor knee procedure and was held out for precautionary reasons. You can notice her playing with a sleeve and a brace on her knee. First swing for Mimi Collier, the new Badger, and Oregon transfer, point Wisconsin.
We're going to see a lot of that out of Mimi Collier. She's so crafty and so smart. She's able to go up and just find the edges of these blockers' hands. It's a hard shot to make, and she's going to make it a lot.
Una Vijagic serving for Wisconsin. That's Selena Laban off the big Badger block. Furbringer settles underneath it for Wisconsin. And sets up Natalie Wardlow, the true freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska. And that's her first stat as a Badger.
That's an impressive swing from the middle blocker turned right side. She was a middle blocker coming into Wisconsin, but is playing on the right side for them right now. Coach Sheffield talked about how crucial it's going to be for her as a blocker to be on the right side over there.
That's an ace serve for Una Vijagic, the native of Serbia. And head coach Kelly Sheffield thinks his Badgers can be a really good serving team.
He mentioned that tonight might be high air, given that it's their first opportunity to play in front of a big crowd like this. But so far, so good.
4 straight points for the Badgers as Laban with the pass, and Zelenovic, a great dig by the new Wisconsin libero Kristen Simon, a true freshman libero, and that helps lead to a Wisconsin point.
Another crafty...
Louisville, Kentucky, Assumption High School, and of course a great club program down in Louisville, Kiva. There's a pass all the way over to Wardlow. Dalton with the set tight to the net. LeBon was able to get it over, and skirmish at the net leads to the Kansas point.
Kansas has a lot of chaos going on right now. Their backcourt is really chaotic. A lot of their first balls are really far off the net, forcing Katie Dalton to have to be kind of running around and just chucking balls up. So they need to settle in and keep that first contact getting better and better.
Ryan White, the Kansas libero, serves her counterpart, Kristen Simon, and that's an ace for the new Kansas libero who transfers in from Oregon State.
Hey, both of these teams have been talking about how important serving is. Coach Ulmer talked about he wants to have a really strong serving team too, and he's doing just that.
Right back to Simon on the serve, and Collier down the line, plants it in front of Katie Dalton.
Another great swing from Mimi Collier. She's so versatile. She's able to go cross-court one shot, drop one down the line. She faces her shoulders a different direction, so it's really hard as a blocker to realize where she's going to swing.
And of course, the interesting storyline about Mimi Collier is that she's an Oregon transfer playing in her first Wisconsin match against her coach at Oregon, Matt Ulmer, who takes over the Kansas program. Ulmer's already made his Kansas debut. But an interesting meeting between Matt Ulmer and Mimi Collier, both wearing different colors.
It is. Oregon randomly represented well here.
Yeah. Following the Carter Booth service error, this is Reagan Burns for Kansas. That was a good serve as well. Long pass over to Collier, and she finds the open floor space.
I mean, I sound like a broken record at this point. Mimi Collier down the line, cross court. She's got all the angles in her book. She's doing a really good job of mixing it up. She sees that block is a little bit late, and she can squeeze it in there. She's got really good vision and is able to see the open spots on the court and the blocker in front of her.
That was a mammoth serve from Grace Egan that drew a gasp from the crowd, and Kansas never had a chance to get in system.
Grace Egan, the Ohio State transfer. We didn't see a ton of her there at Ohio State, but here at Wisconsin, she's playing a little bit of right side. I think she's a true outside hitter. Switched over a little bit.
Another great serve that sets up an overpass. Verbringer sets the middle. That's Alicia Andrew, another new middle blocker for the Badgers, who comes up big, go figure, on the block a moment ago. From the back row, Egan drives the ball. It leads to another overpass. Verbringer over to Collier, dug by Ryan White, and it's a point for Wisconsin.
Mimi Collier is making it so hard on the Kansas block right now. They have no idea whether they should take away the cross court or the line. They're just having to guess right now, and she's able to hit around them every single time.
Pretty good start for the Badgers.
I would say so. Mimi Collier leading the way.
Mimi Collier looking good in Cardinal. A well-oiled machine in big part because Mimi Collier looking great in her Wisconsin debut.
Great is an understatement. I don't know if there's a better word for what Mimi's doing right now, but she's playing really well.
5 kills on 6 chances, no errors. I mean, could not have asked for a better start. Still very early in the opening match of the season for the number 8 team in the country, the Wisconsin Badgers. Collier has 1 season of eligibility left, so a one and done for Wisconsin. Selena LeBon, just a freshman on the other end of her college career.
She's got an ace right off the bat.
Already 2 aces for Kansas in this first set. LeBon a changeup that time. She serves even tight to the net. Ryan Swanson tried to stuff it down for Kansas. To the back row, Viagic with a drive. It's brought back in by Burns, and a bump pass over by Dalton, the setter. Here's Verbringer now. Back to Collier. A dig by LeBon in the back row, and she had no answer.
Kansas putting in some effort in the backcourt here. They're chasing balls down. They're making plays happen, but it's just not enough to handle the heat that Mimi Collier is bringing right now. I mean, she's swinging with a ton of heat and just finding every possible angle.
And now she serves. Out of bounds.
That's the risk when you serve really aggressively, that you might make a couple mistakes here and there.
I got the sense that Kelly Sheffield, by and large, is willing to live with that. This is Reese Patak, the sophomore middle blocker for Kansas. She is from Prescott, Wisconsin, which is up near the border of Minnesota. Furbringer to Collier. No answer.
Charlie Furbringer did a really good job in the middle of that play, taking a look over her shoulder and checking the blockers on the Kansas side. She saw that the blockers were kind of hanging out right there and that she'd have Mimi Collier with a little bit of an open space down her line like that, and Mimi took advantage of it. That was a good move by the sophomore setter.
Simon the serve for Wisconsin. Collier, number 15, already with 7 kills for Wisconsin. Kansas works that one effectively off the block for the point.
Ryan Swanson hits with a little bit of finesse. She might not have as much power as some of the other attackers do, but she sees the block in front of her, and she just kind of is able to do what she wants with the ball right into the blocker's hands.
Swanson's first kill of the match. A good serve from Katie Dalton, and Booth looking for open floor space, but Dalton the dig, now Booth the block. Dalton over to Zelenovic. Nearly dug off the Kohl Center scoreboard, and it lands on Wisconsin's side of the net for a Kansas point.
The Kansas side is very aware of Charlie Furbringer. They're ready for her to dump at any moment, so a lot of these passes have come pretty tight. But the block for Kansas is doing a really good job staying steady and waiting for her to do that.
2-point Badger lead. A drifting serve by Dalton. Collier goes cross court, puts it in the back row. Her 8th kill.
Goodness, even with a little bit of a miscommunication there, Charlie Furbringer kind of shot that back a little bit further than Mimi Collier was prepared for. She had to move her feet a little bit. She lost her footing and had to run almost like a slide approach there. She made it work, found the floor.
Gotta love that as a setter, right?
Your hitter just goes and gets it.
Takes you off the hook like that.
Oh, yeah.
Still gets you the assist.
Oh, yeah.
Furbringer into the net that time. Side out Kansas, hanging around in the first set. As we mentioned, Kansas won their first match against Vanderbilt in 5 sets, lost their second match against the defending national champion Penn State in 5 sets, and yet when we talked to head coach Matt Ulmer, he was happier with how his team played in the loss to Penn State.
They played really well in that game, so I don't blame him.
Off the serve by Logan Bell. LeBon off the Wisconsin block. Furbringer sets the middle, and Carter Booth with her 2nd kill.
There it is. Carter Booth really getting a handle on that. I mean, she's 6'7". She's really tall. She's high above the block in front of her, so she's able to transition really hard, get right back up, and just find angles. It's almost too easy for her.
Viagic gives Kansas a lot of problems on that serve. And she tries to complete the point on the overpass. Wardlow sends it the other way. And a great block by Mimi Collier. She stuffs Jovana Zelenovic.
Mimi Collier did a really good job putting her hands over the net early. That ball was set a little bit tight by Katie Dalton, so Mimi sees that ball, watches it all the way to its spot, and presses over early. That gave her the upper hand there.
The hang time, really impressive for Collier there. It earns Viagic another serve, but it's long. Another serve error for Wisconsin. If Wisconsin were to clean up their service errors, and Kansas with their first service error of the set, this would be a much larger lead for Wisconsin.
Absolutely. Wisconsin's working through some things, though. It's early. I mean, they're 15 points into their first season, their first match, so there's a lot to work through right now.
Yeah, playing on their home campus, but not their home court also. Patak puts that one home for Kansas.
I like what Dalton did there, forcing the middle on that ball. That's not traditionally a set that a setter would want to make over her back shoulder, kind of in a, we call that the death zone sometimes. But she forced it, she made it happen, and Reese Patak was able to just find a spot on the court.
The death zone. No one wants to be in the death zone.
Never.
Reagan Burns back to serve for Kansas. From Lafayette, Indiana, one town over from Purdue in the Big Ten. Cross-court kill, Mimi Collier. I mean, she's just throwing it in the ocean at this point.
Kansas is really going to have to make an adjustment here if they want to stop Mimi Collier. She's going every direction wherever she wants to go. Patak there got a little caught up with Andrews in the middle. I think they need to put more focus on Mimi Collier and stopping her.
Egan with another blistering serve. Push to the back row, Simon the dig. Egan an off-kilter attack. Dalton sets Patak on the slide. Patak loves that 1-foot attack, and it counts for the Kansas point.
I think that was a Mimi Collier block, actually. She found her hands over and did a really good job tracking that slide. The slide is one of the hardest balls to block because they go off 1 foot. It's hard to track. It's usually faster. It was a great hands over by Mimi Collier.
Patak drives that one almost through the back row, and Wisconsin cannot dig it, so give Patak the kill on that point.
She got that one. And I love that Katie Dalton went back to her. You know, sometimes an attacker makes an error, they hit into the block, and as a setter, you're a little discouraged by that. But I love that Katie Dalton gave it right back to her and gave her a second opportunity. That keeps her hitter's confidence up as well.
Here's Selena Laban. Goes cross-court on the serve. Wisconsin in system. That's Andrews with the swing. Ryan Swanson off the Wisconsin block. Over to Egan. And a great dig by Burns. From the back row, pushed over by Laban. And Wisconsin caught flat-footed.
I love that dig and right back from Burns. She did a really good job last weekend digging Kennedy Martin from Penn State. So it was a good job, great dig by her, leaving it up in the middle of the court, allowing them to run whatever they want, and then a lucky point there. Sometimes you win those.
Well, Kansas continues to hang around with Laban serving, one of 3 international prospects that come into the Kansas program, all with 4 years of eligibility, but Wisconsin with the quick side out.
Come on, Charlie Furbringer. That's when you turn and flex on them. It's a strong setter joust there.
Furbringer at 5'11" is going to give up height in most setter jousts, but Dalton about her height as well. And the point there won by Alicia Andrew of Wisconsin.
Great job by Alicia Andrew just being ready. That's discipline right there. Her hands were in a good place where she could either go make a block move or jump right over and block that setter attack, and she did a great job there.
Timeout Kansas with... That's Wisconsin's current setter, Charlie Furbringer, talking to Wisconsin setting legend Lauren Carlini. Take me through that, what did you call it, a setter flex?
That was a glance over. She does a really good job at checking to see what her opponent's blockers are doing. That's a really hard thing to do. She takes her eye off the ball. You can see right there, she looks over at the blockers, and then that allows her to know what's going on the other side of the court. And when she sets Mimi Collier behind her, she sees that she's got good space. Mimi's got a ton of line there, and Collier just
kind of shocked the volleyball world, going all the way to the Final Four in Sheffield's first season as head coach in 2013. Ryan Swanson with the Kansas point off a touch.
That was a little bit of a faster ball from Dalton to Swanson. Swanson gets up really high. She jumps really well, and she has a little bit of a whip of an arm. So you can run her on a higher ball, but that ball, Dalton sped up a little bit, allowing her to kind of beat the block and not have to hang above it.
Here's Patak, the Wisconsin native. Kept out of the net by Viagic and pushed over by Simon. Now Dalton sets Aisha Iono. Beg your pardon, Aisha Iono. And Laban got her hands switched around to the back row. Point Wisconsin.
Just a miscommunication there. What should have been an easy dig for the Kansas side turns into a point for Wisconsin. Communication errors there, seems like that kind of stuff. Plays that you should have, easy balls like that.
So Viagic with her first kill as a Badger. She's a redshirt sophomore, but has been injured for the entirety of her NCAA career. Blew out her knee in February 2024. Dalton dumps it over. Wisconsin was ready. Viagic blisters that ball for the Wisconsin point.
Great swing by Viagic. She's a little bit undersized, so she's not going to be the biggest hitter. She's not going to go up and take these crazy hammering swings. So she's got to be a little bit smarter. She's able to see that hole in the block and just bounce it there. I mean, that had a little bit of heat behind it, but she was able to see that there was a huge hole in the block, and she can just hit straight down and bounce that.
Wisconsin closing in, 4 points away from taking the first set. Swanson the swing for the Kansas point.
A little bit of a setter switch up here. We've got Kristen Klein in now running the offense. And again, that was a pretty fast set. She's running forward and keeps the tempo on that ball, which is something that's really hard to do as well. She kept the tempo, but still gave Swanson enough range to jump up and hit high above the block.
McCline serving now. She is an Oregon transfer. Came over with head coach Matt Ulmer to the Kansas program, but she can't dig that ball from Carter Booth.
That's a great shot by Carter Booth because she comes in so open to her setter. She's so open to Charlie Furbringer. Her shoulders are open. She looks like she's going to hit towards left back, and then she comes across her body and bounces that ball in front of right back. That's a hard ball to dig because you can't see it coming.
Now Wisconsin back in rotation one. Furbringer just over the tape of the net. Over to Swanson. Dug by Viagic. And from the back row, Collier. Her 10th kill.
Wow, Mimi Collier is going off right now. She is everywhere on the court. They're running her in left front, in right back, in middle back. They're kind of putting her in position to be the attacker wherever she's at on the court.
10 kills. She still does not have an attack error. Furbringer again. That's Klein, the new setter. Zelenovic is denied again at the pin.
The ball for Zelenovic right now is just a little bit too fast and too tight for her to get her feet there. I think Kansas needs to go a little bit higher and keep her off the net a little bit more and allow her to swing on balls. But that's a great block by the Badgers.
24 points in the set for Wisconsin. Number 24 serving for set point. Different vibe inside the field house, but they're on their feet nonetheless. Bad set by Klein, and Wisconsin takes the first set. 25-16. The marquee young setters in the game. Underway in the second set, and Kansas looking for an answer. That's a pretty good start, courtesy of Jovana Zelenovic.
At the end of that last set, Kansas made a couple switch-ups there. Looks like we're starting this game back with Katie Dalton at the setter, and that right side connection with Zelenovic is better. That set was a lot more hittable for her.
Wisconsin out of system, and on the free ball, Kansas looking for a 2-0 lead. Zelenovic cross court, it's dug by Furbringer. Another free ball offered by Wisconsin. Dalton to the middle. And Patak puts it away.
That's a really high-level swing by Patak right there. There's nobody defending that deep corner, especially not on a middle attack. She does such a good job, again, being up a little bit out of system there and finding that deep corner. That's a great high IQ swing.
Patak is Kansas's kills leader through the first two matches. She's got 3 now. That one whizzes our way and off the Wisconsin block for a Kansas point.
That started with the defense right there. White had a crazy dig on Carter Booth. It's a really hard ball to dig. She got that up high in the middle and allowed Kansas to create something off of that opportunity.
Kansas hit just 100 in the first set compared to the Badgers, who hit over 500. And Kansas is off to the races here. A 4-0 start and another kill in the second set. The libero Ryan White gets us going again. She serves Mimi Collier. Wisconsin in system, it doesn't matter. Viagic is stuffed by Laban on the opposite pin for Kansas.
Viagic isn't completely comfortable over on the right side. She's a little bit out of her element. She definitely prefers the outside, but that was a stellar block from Laban there.
Laban only 6 feet. Booth is set in the middle. Push to the back row, and she puts it in front of Logan Bell, a much-needed Wisconsin point.
I talked about it earlier with Zelenovic. She's over top of the block. Carter Booth there, over top of the block. She doesn't give anyone an opportunity to even play this ball because it's so straight down.
Well, it looks like the side of the court that Wisconsin's on now is the bad luck side. This was the side Kansas was on. Look at this. Point Kansas as Wisconsin continues to be out of sync. I mean, is there anything more than that, though, than just volleyball superstition?
No, I mean, there's a lot of chaos going on over here on the Wisconsin side. There was a lot of chaos when Kansas was over here. Sometimes when you're playing in a bigger arena like this, your depth perception can be thrown off. They're used to the field house, which is a little bit more intimate. They handled it well in the first set, so maybe there's just some weird vibes going on over here on this side.
Collier tries to swing Wisconsin back to life. Laban with a roll shot, and Collier is there. Wardlow. Point Kansas.
I like the idea there by Furbringer to reverse the set. So she moved really far forward and then kicked it back. That goes a lot into her eye work there, where she checks over at the other side of the net, sees that the blockers move, and then kicks it back to the other side of the court. It was a really good idea.
Maybe she'll try it again. Reagan Burns, and they called a fault. Is it a line fault on the serve?
Looks like a foot fault. Her foot just got a little too close to that line. She touched it when she was serving. Got to stay completely behind that white line. No part of your foot can touch it.
Hardly ever see that.
Very rare.
But again, a new venue here, or unorthodox at least. Badgers have played in the Kohl Center before. That's down the line for Patak on the attack.
Really good swing by Patak. If I'm Mimi Collier, I'm moving my block out a little bit further on that. She left a little bit too much line so that Patak could go and swing down it. She's got Carter Booth defending there. Normally her libero would be there. Carter Booth is not the one I want digging that ball if I'm Mimi Collier.
So Patak with 4 kills, and Laban serves Collier. Alicia Andrew. Collier the swing on a give and go. Dalton on the slide to Patak. She's blocked, and a point for Wisconsin.
That was much better on the block there. Andrews and Collier teaming up, pushing their hands over into the seam and clamping on that ball. Patak didn't really have a chance there.
Alicia Andrew, the Baylor transfer. Redshirt senior from Ridgefield, Washington. Here's Grace Egan, another new transfer for the Badgers roster. Dug by Viagic. And Egan with a big swing from the back row. Dalton on the slide to Patak. That's worked, but Wisconsin's block has been up to the challenge. Now 2 straight points. Back to the action. This is Grace Egan. And a service error for Wisconsin. They had 5 of them in the first set.
Wisconsin's definitely going to need to clean up those service errors. Kansas has come out a little bit stronger. Wisconsin can't afford to have 5 service errors a set.
Back to Reese Patak. Dug by Simon. Furbringer sets the pin. Collier off some high hands. Dalton now leaves it for the back row. Laban turned aside, and she was into the net. A point for Wisconsin.
The Kansas Jayhawks are handling Mimi Collier's swing on the outside a little bit better this set. They're doing a good job of almost committing to her, sending 2 blockers every single time and having their hands up early and in Collier's space.
Collier serves now into the net.
Again, Wisconsin's not going to be able to afford this many service errors the entire game. They're going to have to clean that up just a little bit.
It is the first game after all. Now 7 service errors for the Badgers. Katie Dalton goes to Simon, the freshman libero, in her college debut. Here's Swanson, blocked by Andrew, one-on-one. Out to Zelenovic through the back row. Point Wisconsin, there was no touch.
Again, that ball to Zelenovic, I would like to see it a little bit higher. She's really high up there, and it looks like they're forcing a little bit of a faster tempo to her on the right side there. If I was anybody on the Kansas side, I would give her just a little bit more time to hit over top of these blockers.
And 6'7", Jovana Zelenovic. Just getting used to NCAA volleyball. She is a freshman. She already has a decorated club and national career with the Serbian national team, but she's learning English. She's getting used to life in Lawrence, Kansas, and by the way, the volleyball team's on the road for the first 5 weeks of the season, so processing a lot right now, but Kansas very high on her potential.
A little bit of a tour of the Midwest for her.
That's right. And it will continue next week. Kansas going to West Lafayette to play in the Purdue tournament. Point Kansas there as they continue to keep Wisconsin at arm's reach in the second set. Logan Bell, true freshman, back deep to serve. Dug by Egan on the pass, rather. Collier out of the back row. What a dig by Bell. Furbringer sets Booth. And Dalton across the way to the pin, and LeBon puts it away.
Wow, that's incredible defense by Kansas. They're scrapping all over the place. Logan Bell in the backcourt there making a diving move at that dig, and Zelenovic just being able to barely get it over the net. They were prepared for that ball. Came in on it. Then this kill, clean kill right into that deep corner. Again, they're just finding those seams. LeBon was able to hit over top of that late middle blocker there and found that deep corner. That's a hard ball to dig. You don't set up a defense for that.
Well, LeBon, number 5 in blue, has Bucky Badger trying to channel the Micah Parsons energy that has, in the last 24 hours, taken control of this state. Didn't work on that point for Wisconsin, and Kansas continues to add to its largest lead of the set.
Another change that I would make, I would set Carter Booth a little bit higher. It looks like she's really jammed up there. She, again, is 6'7". She reaches really high. She needs to be able to reach up and hit over top of these blockers.
Bell serves Egan again. Over to Vijakic, and that was smoked off the shoulder of Bell. A point for Wisconsin.
I said earlier that Vijakic doesn't have a bunch of heat behind her arm, and then she just bounces one off the shoulder of Bell over there. That's a really strong swing. That might not be her number one asset is her power, but when she's got no block, she can really flatten that out with a hammer.
Furbringer serves, and again, Vijakic has been on the Wisconsin roster for a couple of seasons now. She's up on the block on Zelenovic there, but she hasn't played because of injuries. Point Kansas there.
That's the height that I'm talking about. That gave her the opportunity to wait on the set and then go fast into her approach. That's a great set by the libero, giving her plenty of time so Zelenovic can just wait on it and go hit that ball sharp cross court. She's over top of that middle blocker every time.
She's got 4 kills. Ryan White serves tight to the net. Furbringer keeps it on Wisconsin's side. Dalton in system for LeBon, and LeBon with another point for the Jayhawks.
It's a really smart put by her. LeBon was a little bit late to that ball, and that set was...
4 teams in the top 25. Just great matchups no matter how you slice it. The Texas-Creighton match will be a rematch of the Sweet 16 last year. And is there enough time in this second set for Wisconsin to claw their way back? That's a good start.
If they can keep making swings like that, absolutely. That was a killer pound down the line from Grace Egan.
And that is Egan's first kill as a Badger. Vijakic the serve. LeBon lines up off the Wisconsin block. Furbringer to Egan. That was a low swing from Egan. The Kansas block was there.
Egan's feet weren't there on that swing. She took off and landed in 2 very different positions, so it dropped her point of contact. She needs to work on getting underneath the ball so she jumps straight up so that her point of contact is at its highest point there. She was a little bit low, so the only place she had to go was low seam into the middle of that ball.
This is Heidi Devers, the serving specialist, into the match for the first time. Collier a roll shot, and anything to get the Wisconsin offense on track.
Smart shot by Mimi Collier. She's been swinging pretty hard most of the time, so mixing in an off-speed shot there allowed Kansas was back on their feet, on their heels a little bit to not be able to pick that ball up.
Collier with 10 kills in the first set. That's her first kill of the second set. LeBon off the block. Vijakic, the bump pass to Egan. Dug by White. Bell for LeBon. Collier. Dalton. Wisconsin was ready. Great dig by Furbringer. Furbringer again on the dig. Here's Egan. Point Wisconsin.
Another really smart play by Grace Egan. That tip up and over. That was a really long and drawn out rally. A lot of defense in there, a lot of chaotic things happening. So for her to just be smart and be patient and wait for her time and put the Badgers in the opportunity to extend the rally if need be. But they got the point there anyways on a smart tip.
Yeah, no one said it had to be pretty. Carter Booth misfires. And we talked about those service errors in the first set for Wisconsin, like, you really don't want that. Maybe that's the fly in the ointment in the first set for Wisconsin. But now when you're down, those service errors take on even greater significance.
Absolutely, and you definitely don't want to miss in the net like that. If you're going to miss, you want to miss long to give your opponent the opportunity.
There's an ace serve for Kansas. The better serving team in both sets so far tonight, Selena Laban. As Kelly Sheffield looking at the tablet. Laban, the native of Slovenia, again with extensive international experience. A service error there.
That's what we would call a good service error.
Yeah.
She served with a ton of heat, barely missed out of bounds, gave Mimi Collier a run for her money. She thought about potentially playing it there, so they had the option to play that ball. That's a good service error.
Makes you hold your breath if you're Wisconsin. There's a good serve for Grace Egan, but Ryan Swanson puts it home. Point Kansas.
Kansas is doing a really good job out of system, especially when Swanson's in the front row. They reach really high with Swanson. She's over top of a lot of blockers, so when they don't necessarily have to run it fast, she's able to just kind of wait on it, use her jump to her advantage, and bounce that ball deep corner.
Reese Patak serves. Furbringer tight to the net. Signals cross with Collier, and that's off the antenna. Point Kansas.
Just a little miscommunication there. It looked like Mimi Collier was humming on an inside route, so potentially what we would call a 32, and Charlie Furbringer overset the ball to the outside.
Collier with 1 kill in the second set after 10 in the first. Egan from the back row. Dalton for Kansas on the slide to Aisha Iono. Collier down the line. Dalton flips it to Iono again. Furbringer picks out Viagic in the back row.
Viagic is so smart. Jokingly, I say that she plays old lady volleyball. It's the same reason my mom can beat me in beach volleyball still at 56 years old. She knows to wait on it and find where I'm not. That's exactly what Viagic does. She knows to wait on it and find where the blockers and the defenders aren't going to be.
That's 56 years young, Mac.
Right. Sorry, Mom.
Swanson blocked by Andrew and Furbringer.
Really good block. Hands over, right in her face. Furbringer, only 5'11", might not have all the height, but if her hands are low and over, she's going to take a lot of balls like that where they just shove it straight into the middle of the block.
Swanson cross court. It's booted by Simon into the fourth row.
Katie Dalton holds onto the ball just a little bit longer than most setters do, which makes it really hard when she runs a short string ball like that. So she had 2 hitters in her zone. The middle was right there, and then Swanson was right there. And she held that ball for just a second, and then it made it really difficult to go put 4 hands up in Swanson's face.
Viagic with some heat.
I'm so impressed with Viagic's ability to find edges of the block, find seams in the block, find open areas on the court. She really does have incredible IQ and incredible vision.
It was almost surprising to hear Kelly Sheffield when we spoke to him this week say, oh yeah, Viagic, she's going to be a 6th rotation basically automatically after sitting on the bench all last season, coming back from a knee injury. But you're seeing why. I mean, this is a really good volleyball player.
Yeah, he mentioned that she's not going to stand out too much, but that she's an absolute baller. You might not notice her every single play, but she's a baller and going to make some serious plays, and I think we've seen that so far.
Viagic with 5 kills in her Wisconsin debut. That's second on the roster right now. Kristen Simon the serve. And if you're Wisconsin, maybe it's too little too late for the second set, but you can play to carry momentum into the third. Collier, that's out. Point, Kansas.
Charlie Furbringer needs to lead Mimi Collier on that set. What I mean by that is she needs to push that ball tighter to the net. You've got to stay behind the 10-foot line there, but Mimi can broad jump and land as far in front of that line as she wants to. So Charlie should really push her to do that. Get her led as far towards the net as she possibly can so she can attack that down, even from the back row.
That was Collier's first attack error of the match. Viagic down the line. Point Kansas. It was out. Saying that to us. So not set point just yet for Kansas. 23-16. Badgers need a server. It's Charlie Furbringer, sophomore from Hermosa Beach, California. Third-team All-American, second-team All-Big Ten as a freshman. Dalton has to keep it on Kansas' side of the net, and Kansas was in the net. Point Wisconsin.
That's a tough play there. Kansas needs to clean it up here at the end of the match. We call this the red zone. They need to clean up the last 5 points of their game. Make sure everything's crystal clear.
Dug by Furbringer on the drive by Zelenovic. A pancake save by Ryan White, but Kansas sends it out of bounds. Give Una Viagic credit for that point.
That's a great diving pancake there by number 22, Ryan White. She dives in there, saves that ball off the floor. They just couldn't completely capitalize and keep that ball in play there. It was a great, really smart tip by Viagic.
Furbringer misfires, and now it's set point for Kansas.
Those Badgers are really going to need to clean up those service errors heading into this next set.
Here's Ryan White. Furbringer races underneath it, sets up Egan. That's out. Point Kansas, and they take the second set in impressive fashion. 25-6, and it's great that you have your eyes on the opening Spike Classic here in Madison. Underway in the third set. Collier smokes a ball off Katie Dalton, and that's what we saw more of in the first set from Collier.
You simply can't let Mimi Collier go one-on-one or one-on-none like that. She's gonna get a kill and find the floor.
So a stark contrast in hit percentage for Wisconsin between set 1 to set 2. Carter Booth gets Wisconsin off to a 2-0 lead.
That block for the Jayhawks right there was just a little bit late. Her timing up on that was delayed, and Carter Booth had already hit by the time Iono is pressing her hands over the net.
5 kills and a block for Booth. Friendly roll for Viagic off the tape. A point Wisconsin.
I love a little net clip, using the equipment to your advantage.
Viagic has both of Wisconsin's aces now, as Matt Ulmer looks on. Wisconsin 0-2 all-time against Kansas. Not many programs that Wisconsin has played and not beaten. Trying to change that here tonight as that is Zelenovic who fires into the net, and it's this side of the court again.
I don't know what's happening with the vibes over here. I wouldn't want to be playing on this side of the court. A lot of chaos.
It's still early for spooky season and Halloween, but the vibes are off on that side. Selena Laban trying to change that for Kansas.
Laban able to sneak one in there. It's a tough swing to make with a really solid block up there. Grace Egan, Carter Booth, that's a big block in your face.
Laban's got 6 kills. Collier blocked, but inbounds, a point for Kansas.
Great job by Patak there, shoving her hands over the net. She was a little bit late on the block, but she did a really good job keeping her hands low and in that seam. She's able to just get a late touch there with that inside hand, and it goes right where she wants it to.
White down the line, out of bounds. Point Wisconsin. Kristen Simon in her Wisconsin debut. Kelly Sheffield called her the best young libero he's had in Madison. High praise. At the net, a joust back on Wisconsin's side. Simon was underneath it. Viagic smokes another one. Great up by Bell, and that's out of bounds, but touched by Wisconsin. Point for the Jayhawks.
Great defense by the Jayhawks, but then able to go all the way across the court here. Katie Dalton finds LeBon on the outside, who swings high hands so well. She did a great job of that last weekend, and she's carrying it into this weekend too.
Here's Heidi Devers into serve. Collier blocked. Point Kansas, trying to change the juju on this side of the net.
Hey, I mentioned that Kansas needed to figure out Mimi Collier over there, and they just sent 3 blockers. I think they decided that Mimi Collier is the one that they need to stop to get ahead here, and they're doing a great job finding ways to stop her.
It's kind of the ultimate sign of respect if you're getting a triple block, but why wait around if you're Kansas? That's a point for Alicia Andrew.
Good job by Andrew just being up. That's the hardest part of being a middle blocker. You run around all the time, and you sometimes don't get set very often. So really good job by Charlie Furbringer forcing that from the 10-foot line, and Andrew by being up in action.
That's Andrew's first kill as a Badger. LeBon drives it into the Wisconsin block. Another crack off the block. Dalton for Patak. Point Wisconsin. Out of bounds.
That's a tough play there. She wanted to find the edge there. That was a really smart tip because they'd swung hard, swung hard, swung hard. You'd think putting a little off speed catches the Badgers back on their heels. Just a little bit too far outside.
Line judge Kristen Simon with a little bit of help on the call there. That's another point for Wisconsin as Patak is denied on the slide.
Again, Mimi Collier is doing a really good job blocking the slide. This is a hard ball to block, but she mirrors that attacker and then puts her hands where the ball is going to be. Sometimes her body isn't there, but her hands are always in the zone where the ball is going to cross the tape.
Air ball from Grace Egan.
That's the downside of that serve. Sometimes you mishandle it and it goes flying out of bounds. It's a risk you take, though. She's serving really well.
Really well. That's really the first bad serve she's had. And we talked about the service errors for Wisconsin. They've had a number of really tough serves that Kansas has been able to pass and keep off the floor. So really, Kansas's serve receive, I think, has been pretty good.
Pretty solid, with a few exceptions in the first set where there was just a lot of chaos going on. But they've cleaned it up a bunch.
After a serving error on Kansas, Collier goes to LeBon. And Dalton reads the defense. The kill for the Kansas setter.
I mean, that started with the pass from LeBon. That's a great pass. Coach Ulmer talked about how he wants her to pass better and work on her passing game, but that is a great pass right there. That led Katie Dalton right into making that dump possible.
Dalton played just one set last season. She has battled injuries for the bulk of her college career. Now a senior for Kansas, healthy and playing really well. Andrew dumps it in Dalton's lap. This is Swanson on the swing. Cross court dug by Simon at the net. It is down on Wisconsin's side. Point Kansas, and a net violation as well.
Looks like Charlie Furbringer got caught up in the net there. Dalton doing a great job right now running a smooth offense, but also keeping herself involved. It's huge for a setter to be offensive when she's in the front row. It adds another layer of difficulty for the defense on the other side.
The setting situation for Kansas has been interesting, and here's the setter in waiting for Wisconsin, Addie Horner, back behind the line. This is her college debut. She's a true freshman from Wheaton, Illinois, not far from Chicago, and she puts it into the net and heads to the bench. But for Kansas, quickly, Mac, as Katie Dalton now serves for Kansas, is it interesting to see Dalton start, and then late in the first set, head coach Matt Ulmer brought in Kristen Klein almost as a change of pace, but it's been Dalton's show ever since.
That was interesting. I was surprised that he didn't stick with the Kristen Klein switch heading into the second, but it served him well in that second set. She played really well.
Carter Booth offers up a free ball. Iono for Dalton, over to Swanson. Ball is planted for a Kansas point. They are down one.
Kansas and Dalton are able to run that ball to the outside really fast in a perfect situation. They got a free ball there, so they're in perfect pass situation. Dalton takes it at a really high point and puts up a one-on-one, basically, for Swanson on the outside.
Dalton shuffling. Aisha Iono with the point in the middle.
That's a really solid swing by Iono. She, again, did a great job just getting up in transition, being active, ready for that set to come at any moment, and swinging crossbody to right back.
Her first kill of the match, and that's a misfire for Katie Dalton. Wisconsin will happily take that and grab the lead right back. Furbringer with 24 assists in the match, puts it in play. Good serve. In the middle, that was Zelenovic, the pin hitter, getting readjusted in the front row now. Viagic, a roll shot, dug by Dalton, but it's into the net.
It's a great hustle by Dalton and a great up. Something we talk about with our front row players, after you come off the block, you want to turn and play as soon as possible. So her blockers right there for the Kansas side didn't do a great job of dropping, turning, and playing. They weren't ready for that crazy ball that came off of Dalton's platform quickly.
Well, after Mimi Collier took the match by storm with 10 kills in the first set, Wisconsin's offense has by and large run through Una Viagic, who now has 8 kills and is hitting .467. Furbringer took something off the serve. Over to Swanson. Here's Viagic again off the block. Swanson, a tip. Viagic into the block. Point Wisconsin.
Viagic did a really good job there. She played a tip inside the court, so she was in the middle of the court right there, and she didn't have enough time to transition all the way back to the outside. So she communicated with Charlie Furbringer, her setter, and told her, leave me inside, and was able to get a good, clean kill out of it. Great communication between the two of them there.
Furbringer to Zelenovic. Swanson on the right side from the back row. Good hands, Mac.
Got it.
You still got the soft setter hands.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should get a point for that or something.
I was going to say, I don't even know what happened there. I was ready to catch that ball coming off of Mimi Collier.
Put you in the box score, I think.
Add that to my stats, please. My college career actually ended here in Wisconsin, so add that one to that game. Just throw that on there.
Okay.
Easy enough.
Picking up where you left off. LeBon hammers it off the Wisconsin block.
I held my breath there a little bit on that because that set was so tight to the net. LeBon was really, really close to not having anywhere to go with that, but she did such a good job seeing that she has a little bit of a smaller block with Viagic in front of her. She just snuck it right through.
Logan Bell serves. Furbringer tight to the net, tees up Carter Booth.
I said it earlier that I wanted Carter Booth to be set a little bit higher, and that's exactly what I was talking about right there. Charlie Furbringer did a great job of giving her just a little bit more time up and down so that Carter Booth had relatively no problem getting a whole hand on that ball and hitting over top.
2-point lead for the Badgers, third set, tied at 1. Simon, the pass to Collier. She was trying to wipe it off the block, but it was out of bounds. Point Kansas.
A rare Mimi Collier miss on that. She's usually pretty smart and knows where a block is going to be and just finds those hands and wipes it off. Good job by Kansas blockers, though, being disciplined and not reaching out for it. That's hard to do.
Ryan White serves Collier. Into the donut. What a dig by Ryan White. Free ball, Wisconsin. Furbringer to Booth. Ryan White calls for it. LeBon from just inside the 10-foot line wins the point for Kansas.
That was great defense by Ryan White. She's all over the place right now. Not only did she make a crazy saving dig in the middle of the court there, that's probably not her ball, then she was able to make this set too. She comes calling that ball right and left, telling everybody, this is my ball, this is my ball, and puts up a great out-of-system set.
We are tied in the third set. Helter-skelter at the net. What a dig by Dalton, right back to Wisconsin's side. Egan down the line, but out. Point Kansas.
Holy cow, what a dig by Dalton. She came
team, but Kansas now in the midst of a 5-1 run, trying to take control of what's been a tight third set, and they now lead by 2 after the attack error on the Badgers.
Another rare Mimi Collier error right there. She's really swinging hard for that line. She's trying to just barely paint it right now.
6-1 and 4 straight for Ryan White. Booth hammers it. And side out for Wisconsin. They needed that.
I mean, that's an easy way to get a point right there. Great pass by Mimi Collier, taking it with her hands right on the money. Charlie Furbringer able to find Carter Booth, who's up in action, ready to go.
Kristen Simon serves. And it's an ace. Badgers looking for a break, and they find it.
Again, using the equipment. I love it. Serving flat and quick right across the top of the tape. Sometimes you get lucky with a net clip like that.
Her first college ace. Had 3 aces against Notre Dame, but that was an exhibition play. LeBon is stuck. And a new face on the pin for Wisconsin, helping out with the block. Number 10, Madison Quest, true freshman from Pewaukee.
The hometown kid right there. She's played in Wisconsin, Milwaukee Sting kid. That's a great block by her.
Played high school at DSHA, Divine Savior Holy Angels. Zelenovic dug by Furbringer and dumped down by Collier.
That was an awesome turn and play. That's what I was talking
about. Or Penn State jersey hanging up somewhere.
Yeah, I have a couple, that's for sure.
That ball was hammered on an overpass by Alicia Andrew, who's come up with a couple of big points now for the Badgers.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Sheffield talks about how she's a little bit more of a quiet killer here. That was a great serve. It started with that serve, and then she's just ready to go at any moment. She is really aggressive up at the net.
LeBon is stuffed. LeBon crafty, but Furbringer back to the play up. Over to Collier, off the block. It's a 6-0 run for Wisconsin.
It's a great shot from Mimi Collier. Really smart idea to not try to avoid the block like she has been. She's been making a couple errors avoiding the block, and right there she just swung high into it and was able to get a good tool off of it.
LeBon. Furbringer again. Collier again. Point Wisconsin.
Mimi Collier is having so much more success hitting into.
Kristen Simon serving for Wisconsin. Once down 16-14 in this set. But Kansas with a much-needed point. Rather, Wisconsin keeps right on rolling, I beg your pardon. An 8-0 scoring run now. It is 22-16.
Great serving by Simon right now. She's serving really flat and really clean right across the top of the tape.
Patak in the middle. Great dig by Simon, and Patak unable to clean it up. Badgers suddenly closing in on a win here in the third set.
Kristen Simon, that freshman libero there, making some really good plays in the backcourt right now.
Great dig there. Starting to see what the buzz is all about for Kristen Simon as well. This is Grace Nelson into the game for Kansas, number 1. She makes the dig, and Dalton sets up Zelenovic. It's a point for Kansas off a Wisconsin touch.
Smart swing there by Zelenovic. She didn't really have much room to go. Her off blocker, number 1, Grace Nelson, played that ball, so Zelenovic was pretty much the only attacker for Katie Dalton to set right there. So she had nowhere to go cross court because all of her blockers were in her face. Smart swing down the line.
Heidi Devers with the serve. Furbringer pops it to Madison Quest. That's out of bounds. Wisconsin out of sync.
I like the effort there. A quick pass put her tight to the net, so she had to kind of go with one hand awkwardly. Furbringer just didn't make it happen there.
Collier the pass. Back to Mimi. Point Wisconsin.
We call that a set-me pass. Mimi Collier passed it a little bit off the net, so nobody else was going to get set except for her. She took a really strong approach into that, though, and found good hands once again.
Hands the Badgers set point. And the freshman Madison Quest playing in the first set of her college career. Dug in the back row, and Collier puts it away. And the Badgers send Kansas away. Away we go in the 4th set. Charlie Furbringer serves for the Badgers. Katie Dalton, the Kansas setter, tees up Aisha Iono in the middle. Now Jovana Zelenovic, and the play is blown dead. A point for Kansas.
Viagic got a little too eager there, was in the net a little bit. Kansas trying to manage a lot right now. I know we're early, we just started this set, but a lot of tips at the end of the last set as well. I'd like to see them clean up their offense a little bit.
Ryan White with the serve. There's Viagic, and the ball is booted by Bell. Point Wisconsin.
Again, Viagic just being really crafty. A really good job by her taking a strong approach on the right side of the court where she's not the most comfortable, but making a really high flat swing.
10 kills, 1 error. Not a bad debut. Patak switched hands in midair, got it over. And Collier didn't quite seal the point. Kansas kept it alive. Kansas just like a cat with 9 lives on this point. Collier into the net, and the Jayhawks win the point.
That was a lot of scrappy play from the Jayhawks right there. And got a coach over there. He's a goofy guy.
Year 13, he's starting to loosen up a little bit. Well, that is another net violation.
You know, those are just errors that you don't want to have at any point, let alone at this point in the game, this late in the game. That's 2 net errors in this set alone for the Badgers. They need to clean up their action in the net, be a little less eager towards that tape.
Devers the serve. Booth is denied. Dug by Simon. Over to Collier. Dug by White. Back to Wisconsin side. From the back row, Viagic puts it down.
That was a good job by Charlie Furbringer running a really balanced offense. In that play alone, she set a middle, outside, and then a back row on the back row quick right there, and was able to score with Viagic because she ran so many different options.
Viagic hitting .455. She's 1 dig away from a double-double as well. Attack on the slide, and it falls over. Point Kansas.
Nice and steady. That's Patak's game. She's not making any bouncing kills right now, but she's doing a good job finding different ways to score, being creative, mixing in some tips, having wonky plays like that fall in her favor.
Big 12 Freshman of the Year last year. Furbringer looked like it slipped through her hands.
Hey, happens to the best of us. I've been there before. Got to wipe her sweat off her hands a little bit.
Selena Laban with the serve. Furbringer, no issues on that pass. Dug by Laban. Swanson, cross court, dug by Simon. In the middle, Andrew puts it down.
Great dig by Simon on that, but Andrew did a really good job being patient. That set might have been a little bit high. Charlie Furbringer's got a difficult battle ahead of her, having Carter Booth at 6'7", and then Alicia Andrews, who's a little bit shorter than Carter Booth, so it's really different on her sets.
Quest serves Devers. Simon the dig, but she couldn't keep it up enough. Point Kansas.
Something that Swanson did really well on that play, she snapped and kept her hand really high. If she would have followed through on her swing and finished that through down, there's a good chance that ball wouldn't have landed where it did and might have gone out of bounds. But because she just snapped and held her hand up really high, the ball had good topspin on it and dropped right in front of Simon.
Patak serves. Furbringer tight to the net, dumps it over. A 2-ball for Charlie Furbringer. That's her second kill.
On 2, Charlie Furbringer. I would like to see a little more action from her, especially because she doesn't set Andrew a ton on the slide behind, so I'd love to see her incorporate herself into the offense a little bit more.
Collier serves just a little bit long, not by much. The kind of service area you're okay with, Mac.
Absolutely, and I think they've cleaned up their serving just a little bit. Maybe that's just a feel from me, but I feel like they've cleaned up their service errors just a little bit. They're missing more out of bounds and less in the net.
Dalton with the service error for Kansas.
That net clip right there in that spot only works for Kristen Simon there, I guess.
She got the home court roll earlier. And Addie Horner is in to serve for the second time. She was the primary setter for Wisconsin during exhibition play with Charlie Furbringer out for precautionary reasons, and she's now 0 for 2 from behind the service line. Just getting started in her college career out of St. Francis High School in Wheaton. There is another freshman on the floor right now for Wisconsin. You'll see her in a moment, number 16, Ania Warren. Logan Bell serves for Kansas. Furbringer again. Got Kansas to bite. 18 digs. Serving to get us going. A change-up serve. Dalton sets LeBon off the Wisconsin block and out of bounds on the Badgers side.
Great swing by LeBon. Her blocker, Madison Quest, got a little tripped up there on the middle attacker coming up in her zone. So it allowed LeBon to go off her outside hands pretty easily.
Ryan White serves Mimi Collier on the overpass. It's cleaned up by Selena LeBon.
That's definitely something that Mimi Collier needs to clean up just a little bit. It's her first ball. She passes a couple balls off the net and a couple balls over the net, creating some tough opportunities for her setter.
Quest with a roll shot. And Zelenovic back our way. Mac, you're 2 for 2.
Too easy over here.
I would say so as well.
It's the right idea by Zelenovic, too, making that cross-court swing. That was what was open. I need to be ready to dig that next time.
I don't have a thing to worry about. I know I've got Mac Pedraza keeping me clean here. Off the block awkwardly. It was an awkward swing by LeBon. She mishit it, but still gets the point.
Freshman on freshman right there. That's a really, really, really hard swing to make for LeBon. That out-of-system set came from way off the court, and she still went for it. That was a really good job. Madison Quest needs to do a better job blocking that and just finding the ball quicker.
So LeBon's got a dozen kills now to lead Kansas. And Kansas in front now here in the fourth, but Wisconsin serving to tie. Kristen Simon behind the line. That's a good serve. On the slide, though, Patak gets it over. Collier winds up. Bell keeps it alive. On the Wisconsin free ball. Furbringer. Down it goes. Alicia Andrews.
Alicia Andrews absolutely got the handle on that ball. She doesn't always get a great hand on that ball, but her connection with Charlie Furbringer is really, really strong. For her, as being a transfer and a new face as well, and not having a ton of time to work on that connection, they're connecting really well right now.
And again, as we've said, Furbringer did not play in the preseason, so that makes the rapport that they have even more impressive almost instantaneously. Kansas serving with the lead. It's Selena Laban. And we're tied right back up.
Too many missed serves, right? I might have spoken too soon about everyone cleaning up their service game earlier.
They cleaned it up temporarily.
Right, for a moment it was cleaner.
That was a floating serve from Madison Quest. Dug by Viagic. Collier. Point, Wisconsin.
I've got to give the flowers to the setter on that play. Charlie Furbringer set that ball off balance in a really hard position all the way back and right back. She spins and pushes that ball and puts it in such a good position for Mimi Collier just to cut that cross court.
Oh, Madison Quest. That was a floater that Laban just could not handle.
The serve before, Madison Quest dropped it short, and then the next serve, she throws it deep into that back corner, throwing off the Kansas passing line. That was a really smart choice by her.
First college ace for Madison Quest and the fourth for Wisconsin in the match. She serves Devers this time, put a little more heat on it. Swanson through the block, it's dug by Quest. Back row, Viagic, dug by Grace Nelson. Andrew, point, Wisconsin.
Something you can't do is give an easy tip ball to the Badgers right now. Swanson tipped that ball pretty easily right into Kristen Simon's lap, and they were able to run a really smooth offense. Charlie Furbringer and Andrew connection is going really well.
6 kills and a career-high 8 blocks for Alicia Andrew in her Wisconsin debut. Furbringer was denied. Kansas was ready for the setter attack that time.
Really nice job by Kansas picking up on the fact that Charlie Furbringer is trying to be a little bit more aggressive. I like that she's trying to be more aggressive. Sometimes you got to pick better timing to do it.
This is Reese Patek. Back row, Viagic. That's out. And a heads-up play by Grace Nelson to get the heck out of the way.
That was a really good set choice and a really good swing. She just let the ball get a little bit too far behind her. Got to keep it out in front of you so that she can swing down from the back row.
Nearly an overpass instead of joust. Collier through the block, a point for Wisconsin.
Great set by Viagic, putting that up nice and high for Mimi Collier to go and find hands once again. She keeps that ball in front of her so that she can go after it rather than it being behind her where she has no vision of the block.
Collier is just stuffing the box score tonight. 18 kills, 9 digs, 5 blocks. Andrew saves the play for Wisconsin. Iono on the slide. Andrew denied. Anaya Warren keeps it alive. And the roll shot miss-hit by Viagic.
I like the play there by Viagic. That's a smart choice to roll shot right then and there. She didn't have the angle on her swing. Just didn't fall the way she wanted it to.
Really the first time that's happened in the match for Viagic. It's a 1-point game here in the fourth. Warren with the pass to the base of the pin, and it's an ace serve for Kansas.
I would have liked to see Charlie Furbringer finish that move. She took a lot of steps towards that ball and then just kind of bailed on it. I would have liked to see her finish that and go play that.
Dalton serves Warren again. Furbringer on the slide, punched by Andrew. Here's Swanson, she is blocked.
What a block from Andrew, wow. Kelly Sheffield told us that she doesn't get a ton of stuff blocks. She's never one that's gonna get a bunch of monster blocks in here. I would beg to differ on this match here. She's doing a really good job being low and over, pressing in the seam, and clamping on some of the Kansas attackers right now.
A career high 9 blocks for Andrew. Her previous career high was 7. And the Wisconsin block looks a little bit different than it has in years past. Not quite as physical as fans in Madison and around the Big Ten have gotten accustomed to. Carter Booth saying, I beg your pardon. That ball was in, a point for Kansas on a crazy play.
A lot of chaos happened right there. A lot of chaos. Net violation, I think. But that was a good deep swing by, was it Zelenovic? In that deep corner.
We are tied at 16. Here we go. Logan Bell, Indiana Gatorade Player of the Year. Collier from the back row.
Almost an automatic point every time.
Furbringer serves. Pushed over by Zelenovic. Furbringer gets it over. Oh, she hurt herself on the play. Good serve. Zelenovic. That's out. Point Wisconsin.
That was a really close swing right there. That's a...
With Build Me Up Buttercup echoing through the halls of the Kohl Center. Point Kansas. Zelenovic with another one.
Wow, that's a really good swing by Zelenovic. She reached really high, and again, I think time is the key for her. When you give her enough time to reach and use all 6-7 of her, she does a great job of finding high hands and the deep corners.
Booth. That's out. Point Kansas.
Another 6-7 player that does much better when you give her that range. I think these setters need to be setting their attackers just at a higher contact point. The speed can stay the same, just got to reach them up there a little bit more.
Ryan White has gone on some good serving runs for Kansas in this match. Over to Quest, cross court, that's down. Point Wisconsin.
Wow, that was a killer swing from the freshman on the outside. She did exactly what she needed to do on that. To reach that deep corner, she needed to keep her finish and her contact point really high. You can see there that she doesn't swing all the way through. And again, that just keeps the ball floating and lets it drop right in that deep corner. That's such a good swing.
First kill of her college career, and she's up big on the block, along with Carter Booth.
Look at that freshman go. There she is. I've heard her name quite a bit coming into this season. She's a freshman that's definitely going to make an impact in her career, and she's doing a great job making an impact here tonight.
You could say the same thing about Una Vijagic, who has a double-double tonight. She just served for Wisconsin. 12 kills, 12 digs. Collier, dug by Bell. Dalton underneath it. And a free ball offered up by White. Booth, dug by White. Dalton. Zelenovic kept alive by Quest, and now Simon for Wisconsin. Zelenovic with some spice. Point Kansas.
Bringing the hammer on the right side over there. Zelenovic, another freshman, playing really, really well. Again, that time, giving her time is so key. She's able to swing a lot of different shots. She's swung cross court quite a few times, but that one she turned a little bit more to that seam line. Found some really good holes on the floor.
11 kills for Zelenovic tonight. We are tied at 20. Both teams in the red zone. Heidi Devers serves. Collier. Quest. From the back row. Dug by White. Dalton Dug by Simon. Collier off the block. Point, Wisconsin.
Neither team is backing down right now. Both sides are playing some great defense. Ryan White is coming in out of nowhere, making some crazy diving plays for Kansas right now. But the Badgers are persevering. They're finding ways to keep going. Sometimes that's really defeating when you keep making shots and you're trying to score, and your opponent just keeps picking up that ball. It's really defeating as an offense. So good on the Badgers to keep going, keep rolling, and finding ways to score.
What a debut for Mimi Collier as a Wisconsin Badger. 20 kills. There's a great dig by Viagic, her 13th. A rainbow to Kansas. Free ball. Great play by Devers just to save the point. Quest off the block. Dalton over to LeBon. Furbringer underneath it. Collier. Point, Wisconsin.
Mimi Collier finishes it once again. The Badgers are doing such a good job being patient and waiting for their chance to swing. I mean, Kansas is coming in making some crazy plays, keeping the ball up play after play. And the Badgers are doing such a good job staying patient and waiting for their chance to get a really good, clean kill.
LeBon with a huge point for Kansas.
LeBon has swung cross-court quite a bit. She mixed in a couple tips down the line, but it's been a minute since we've seen her with a really strong down-the-line kill. So that was a good mix-in by her because Madison Quest had adjusted her block to take more of the cross-court angle.
In the second game of her college career, she had 20 kills against Penn State, defending national champions. She is legit. And a miscommunication by the Badgers, and we are tied at 22.
Not a time you want to have those miscommunication errors. Like you said, both teams are in the red zone here. This is when you want to really lock in and make sure you're playing your most clean, crisp volleyball.
It's a race to three. Collier on the roll shot. Kansas ready. Dalton caught the Badgers off guard. The kill for the setter.
We've got a setter back.
Dug by LeBon. Dug by White. A collision for Kansas, and it's a point for Wisconsin.
Oh no, you hate to see that miscommunication there. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. Sometimes when jumbled up plays like that, I think Reese Patak might have fallen in the middle there too, off the block and was late. So it's interesting to see after a jumbled up play like that, if Kansas can bounce back and be clean out of the gates here.
Now it's Eby. We have had 16 ties in the fourth set. And the floor crew working hard.
Hey, we asked for some good volleyball out here. I would say we're getting it.
Patak comes in on the slide, and Kansas has set point.
That's a really smart choice by Dalton. I would have set that as well. Like I said earlier, she's scoring quite a bit with her outsides, but it's setting her middles in times like that that's allowing her outsides to score. When she runs the middle at a time like that, it's a crunch time moment. She trusts them, knows that they're going to score, but it just opens up the outside hitter so much more.
Patak serves. Wisconsin going small. Collier, cross-court kill and a beauty.
That's exactly who I would want to set if I was Wisconsin. Even though it's out of the system, such a good high ball to Mimi Collier, and she just hits it right over top of that block. Again, she's such a dynamic hitter and has so many different shots in her toolbox. She's doing it all.
Collier nearly with an ace. Swanson comes in and puts it where they ain't.
Another over the top. Wow, this volleyball is just being played at such a, I was going to say high level, but a high playing field right now. Swanson's so much higher than the block that she just kind of slam dunks it down into the middle of the court with no problem at all.
It is a basketball arena match. Set point number 2. Collier comes flying in.
I mean, if I'm Wisconsin right now, there's nobody else I'm setting. Mimi Collier all the way every single time. That's a crunch time player right there. Mimi Collier is what we would call clutch, that's for sure. Even with a little bit of a scramble play and some chaos with the pass, she's still completely ready to get out of the way and go take a big rip at that ball.
23 kills, and we haven't even gotten to the 5th set. This is Miley Chan, who is serving for the 2nd time in this match. Sophomore from Portland, Oregon. Zelenovic, that's in. Kansas with a 3rd set point.
So many options right now. I don't think that there's a single go-to player that she feels like has a super hot hand and somebody that she's going to go to every single time in these crunch time moments. Everybody's doing something different. Patak was doing a great job swinging behind on the slide, and Zelenovic right there did a great job finding that deep corner.
Here's Bell, a service error. And remember, it was in the 4th set against Penn State where Kansas had a match point, and in fact, I think it was the identical score we just had, 26-25. They couldn't close the deal. It went to 5, and Penn State ultimately won. Now Kansas is just trying to close the door and get to a 5th set. But they've opened it for Charlie Furbringer and the Badgers. Zelenovic down the line, dug by Simon on the free ball. Zelenovic off the block. Simon flung a hand at it. Now the pass to Viagic, and Kansas with the block out of bounds has another set point opportunity.
Wow, that defense by Kristen Simon was incredible. Down the line, making some crazy plays, some really hard-driven balls straight down the line at her, and then a diving save in the middle. I mean, closed out by 6'7" Zelenovic right there. That's impressive.
Ryan White serves to Viagic. Collier blocked, and a point for Kansas. Happen no matter what she gets.
She's really versatile. They're asking her to do a lot, too. They want her to start playing 6 rotations and maybe play some defense here, too.
Remember, it's a sprint here in the 5th set. Points at a premium, only going to 15. Free ball for Kansas. What a dig by Furbringer, and it's popped over by Carter Booth. Zelenovic. It's out. It was not touched. Point. West. Dug by White. LeBon pushes it across. Furbringer sets the middle. Viagic puts it down. Crafty play.
Really smart play by Viagic. Again, just finding the edges of the block and placing that ball right where she wants it to be. Charlie Furbringer's a little off balance right now. Looks like she might be staying down on the ground as opposed to jump setting like she normally does. It's creating a little bit of a difference in her rhythm with her sets. So her hitters are having to adjust a little bit more, but Viagic did a really nice job right there just tipping that ball because she knew it wasn't in the place where she needed it to be to take a big rip. 13
kills and 10 digs and nearly another ace. She's got 2 of those. Point Wisconsin, and that all starts with the service pressure.
Exactly, that's a great serve, creating a really great opportunity for Wisconsin. I do love that LeBon went for that, though. That's a hard ball to hit, and she tried to take a good rip at it.
2-1 Wisconsin. There's a good rip from LeBon. We're tied at 2.
That's a great swing from LeBon, finding the inside seam. Again, Carter Booth is hard to not find, so she does a good job there, just tooling it right off the inside of Carter Booth's hands.
Ryan White serves to Collier. Booth dug by White. Zelenovic is blocked. Point Wisconsin. That ball was down.
That's a really close.
And referees got to be in midseason form from the jump.
Absolutely.
At the net, it's tapped right back down by Carter Booth.
Carter Booth all day. That ball's coming over, and Carter Booth is a brick wall up there. She says absolutely not. Good effort by Bell trying to make that dig. Just got to keep it a little bit closer to her body. Carter Booth says absolutely not. Let's go.
She's got 8 kills. Kristen Simon serves it out. And we're tied at 3. Does serving strategy change at all in the 5th set?
Not necessarily. You want to stay after it and stay aggressive, and I like that Simon went after that one. It would have been nice for the Badgers to capitalize on her serve because she has a really great serve.
Back to Collier. High Karam off the block, and eventually it falls for a Wisconsin point.
It's a great swing. High off the high hands. Mimi Collier doing what Mimi Collier does.
24 kills. 51 swings. She's hitting 333, now 353.
Those are all-American numbers right there.
They sure are. Collier, what a slice. 25.
That's so smart by Mimi Collier. She knows that she's got 3 blockers in her face. Kansas sent them all, which is smart by Kansas. They've got to defend Mimi Collier somehow. But they've got to shift their back row defense too. Their libero needed to shift over a little bit, Ryan White, to be able to dig that ball.
On the slide, Patak through the hands of Simon, point Kansas.
Coach Ulmer was talking about how he wants Dalton to run Patak just a little bit faster. I think that was exactly what Coach Ulmer was talking about, with a little bit of a faster tempo there. Even from off the net, Katie Dalton was able to find her and kind of feed her right away. Pretty quick there.
The things Matt Ulmer's Oregon Ducks teams were known for. He's trying to bring that speed to the Jayhawks program now. Furbringer tight to the net. Alicia Andrews having a heck of a Badger debut.
Alicia Andrew and Charlie Furbringer are connecting so well. Charlie Furbringer has adjusted her sets a little bit. She's staying down on the ground or barely pop jumping there, as you can see. She usually takes a little bit more of a jump to set that ball. So the Kansas blockers were a little bit off on that.
Ryan Swanson dug by Simon. Furbringer knocks it over. Point Wisconsin.
Even with just a little pop jump right there, Charlie Furbringer is able to find the ground. She's got 5'11". She says, watch me throw some balls down.
4 kills for the Wisconsin sophomore setter. 43 assists and 17 digs. Collier serves long, and that brings Kansas down to 2.
Right when Wisconsin gets a great momentum play like a Charlie Furbringer kill on 2, they go and miss a serve and lose all of that momentum. Volleyball is such a momentum game, so it's so important to keep that serve when you got it, especially in a sprint like a 5th set.
Wisconsin wisely gets out of the way. That's 4 off her career high. Great serve by Horner. Swanson off a tip. Collier off the block and batted over by Dalton.
Katie Dalton making it happen. I mean, that's unconventional if I've ever seen it, but I like it. I mean, she's being aggressive right there, going after it. Great touch on the block. Just finds a way to sneak it into that deep corner. Paid off for her.
Now rewarded with the serve. Kansas is big up front with Swanson, Zelenovic, and Iono. Collier into the net. Point Kansas, and the Jayhawks are down 1.
Something that Wisconsin is doing right now is they're keeping Mimi Collier out of the passing rotation when she's in the back row. Normally she would be up passing, and potentially you would push up the front row attacker, in this case, Viagic. Wisconsin's leaving her out so that she has a better path to go back row attack because they clearly want to use her quite a bit, just like that.
Oh, Collier got that one down, though. A point for Wisconsin.
If I'm Kansas right now, I've got eyes on every movement Mimi Collier makes. She's all over the court right now. They're moving her around and putting her in different spots, and she's effective everywhere. So if I'm Kansas, I've got eyes on Mimi Collier.
Furbringer serves Laban. This is Swanson with the swing. Collier the dig. It's an overpass. Furbringer, Collier, a tip. Sent back over by Zelenovic. Quest is denied. Viagic. Iono into the lap of Wisconsin. Free ball for Kansas. White underneath it for Swanson on the bump pass. Zelenovic through the block. Nearly pancaked by Simon, but it's a point for Logan Bell with Kansas down 1 in the 5th. Carter Booth with a drive and a block and a point for Wisconsin.
That was some scrappy volleyball by Kansas over here. They're all over the place, making plays happen. Again, using their communication, Logan Bell calling out their setter and taking that second ball, but Carter Booth with that nasty block. She's just, again, so low and over. I don't know if low is the right word for Carter Booth.
Almost an oxymoron. Zelenovic. Kansas asking for a lift. They get a point either way.
Iono wasn't worried about the lift. She said, I'll end it right here. No worries. You don't have to call anything. I'll just pound it to the ground. That was like a 12-foot line kill right there for her.
Ryan White serving the tie. She serves Grace Egan. What a dig by White. Laban kept alive by the Badgers. Over to Egan. Spiked off the block. Blistering ball dug by Furbringer. Simon sweeps it over. Laban winds up. Missed it wide. Point Wisconsin. Kristen Simon with the serve. Zelenovic dug by Furbringer. Grace Egan with a windup. Out of bounds. Big swing from Grace Egan, the former Buckeye. Point Wisconsin.
Really good swing from Grace Egan. Grace Egan does what I like to call a hang and bang. She jumps really high, hangs in the air, and almost hits on her way down because she just bangs really low and is really good at finding any part of blocks.
Well, part of the reason she's come back into this game in the 5th set is because Mimi Collier is out. You saw her with an ice pack on her leg. But the Badgers are getting it done without their workhorse, Mimi Collier. Match point for Wisconsin.
Badger fans are on their feet in the Kohl Center right now. They are hyped to see their new Badgers going 5, taking it the long way.
Kansas calls its last timeout.
Coach Ulmer looking a little bit frustrated with his Jayhawks. I think they can clean up that first ball, but they're taking really strong rips. Again, like this is like that 5-set loss to Penn State. If they take really strong, incredible, highly educated swings, you can't be mad at them for missing just a little bit outside the edges of the court. Nebraska returns 4 All-Americans. That's more than any other team in the country. Nebraska's already in mid-season form, and we're not even technically, they haven't even played the first weekend yet. They played week 0. So I think it's fair to say Wisconsin is by far the #1 team in the nation right now.
It's not even September. Here's Kristen Simon serving match point. Attack keeps us going.
Attack's not ready to be done.
No.
That's a great choice. That's exactly who I would set too. She's lethal in moments like this. I think we can expect to see her run some more behind in the next coming points.
Brings in Heidi Devers. She serves Viagic. Egan dug by Bell. LeBon blocked, out of bounds. Point Wisconsin, they win the match.
Madison Quest, the freshman,